Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today we're jumping right into Road to Ranked. In the last episode, we featured a really fun team with Zekrom, so if you haven't seen that, I would recommend it. Thank you to ZekromZeke for the team once again. You can find details linked in the description below. And today, for the first game, we're up against a Giratina team. Okay, that's really cool. I haven't really seen Giratina at all yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were some kind of weakness policy set, given that there's potential Brutal Swing Tornadus and Sucker Punch Grimmsnarl. So that feels decently likely to me. How do I want to approach this then? Giratina. Well, I mean, Zekrom's not bad. Zekrom's definitely not bad. Umbreon, Landorus feel decently valuable for me here as well. Celesteela is kind of interesting. It does wall a lot of my opponent's Pokemon. Thundurus is never a terrible option, especially when they have like Incineroar on the opposing end, but I kind of like Umbreon here. So let's go with Umbreon, Zekrom, Landorus, and I don't know. Amoonguss is interesting. It's just that if my opponent leads like Tornadus and Giratina, it's just so useless, right? Feels kind of useless. Okay, Umbreon, Zekrom, Landorus, plus maybe Amoonguss in the back. Because what I can use it for is just basically Rage Powder in the late game. Switch it in, get a Rage Powder, redirect an attack away from Zekrom, and allow me to get like a really powerful max move off on the opposing side. So we'll see how this goes. Either way, thanks as always for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, curious just what your favorite season is. Not Pokemon related, just in general. It's really cold right now where I am, so I ask and I hope that you all are, in some place warmer. Okay, so it is Tornadus plus Giratina, which is, initially what I was thinking of. They're faster with Giratina as well, which is good to know. I have a bunch of approaches here. I mean, I would think they just Brutal Swing and then, I don't know, Max Wormwind into Zekrom. Seems pretty safe to me. I kind of want to just foul play here into Giratina, switch Zekrom out into Landorus. Guess I could have gone Baby Doll Eyes as well. Well, maybe this wasn't as good of an idea, because if I'm foul playing, I mean, I'm doing less damage if I'm intimidating you. Maybe they don't even go for the Brutal Swing here, so yeah, I mean, it should be Weakness Policy Giratina, right? Either way, it's really interesting to see Giratina. I also don't know if it's really physical or special. That's the other question I have here. Yeah, so they're going to Dynamax. What else could I have led against this? Amoonguss Zekrom, but then you can just Brutal Swing Max Wormwind into Amoonguss, and that's pretty bad, right? I don't really have that much counterplay to that. Okay, so Giratina is loose. Let's see what they opt for. Tailwind or Brutal Swing? I think it's one of the two. Okay, they go for the Tailwind. That's fine. And it's going to be Max Wormwind. Yep. On to Landorus. Okay, I think that's physical damage then. So I'm going to end up activating their weakness policy, but I can just Baby Doll Eyes, protect this next turn. And then you're back at neutral attack immediately, so it's not that bad actually. Yeah, it is policy. Okay. It's probably better to just Baby Doll Eyes immediately then, rather than foul play. So I think that was maybe a little bit of a misplay, but that's alright. Like I said, I'm just going to Baby Doll Eyes here, protect the Landorus here. I mean, protect is kind of obvious, but I think it's still okay to go for in this position. Other cool thing about the Umbreon is that it's Dark type, right? So you can't Prankster Taunted to me, which is actually super nice. Okay. Get Baby Doll Eyes off. Nice. They're back in neutral attack now. Icy Wind, that's fine. Although that probably means Umbreon's going to take a hit here. Because Icy Wind, I think, probably would have just knocked out Landorus from the range that we were at. But if we could just stall out their Dynamax these first couple turns, then it's looking alright. Yeah, they're just going to opt for a Wormwind here, which makes sense. It still takes a sizable amount there, to be honest, but it's okay. Question is whether or not I want to go for like another Baby Doll Eyes. Can I survive a Max Wormwind plus Icy Wind combination? It doesn't look like it, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So I'll just go for another Baby Doll Eyes here, and then I'm basically try to play towards the Zekrom endgame. And I'm actually going to switch Landorus out into Amoonguss right now. Or alternatively, I sacrifice Umbreon to have Amoonguss and then Zekrom out at the same time. That actually doesn't seem that bad. Okay. Alternatively, I can Moonlight in the off chance Umbreon actually survives here. But yeah, I don't actually want to decrease their attack, because I think I want Amoonguss plus Zekrom out. And then basically Dynamax Zekrom and then try to sweep with it in this endgame. I think that's what I'm going for here. So, you know, I'm playing a little passively in the early game, but given that there's some like weakness policy set, I think it's fine to play a little bit more passively. Icy Wind comes out, as expected. Yep. I went for Moonlight here because, like, if you actually, like, target the Amoonguss slot, for example, Umbreon's actually a huge nuisance to my opponent's team after this early game, right? And if you just knock out Umbreon, then I get what I want, which is the free switch in into the Zekrom. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Like, I could have gone for Baby Doll Eyes there. Well, I guess if I go for Baby Doll Eyes, well, they crit anyway, so it didn't matter. But if I go for Baby Doll Eyes, I could have, I don't know, Rage Powder, recover the next turn. But I just really want Zekrom in safely, and now I finally get it in safely. So, that's good. Amoonguss here is baiting a taunt. Ideally, I KO the Tornadus so it doesn't get another Tailwind off, but I think Focus Sash is definitely a pretty big possibility on it as an item. The thing is, I really want to max Airstream here into the Tornadus and switch Amoonguss out into Landorus. Okay, I think I'm willing to do that. They switch out Giratina, probably into Incineroar. Yeah. Intimidate's just such a problem for Zekrom, unfortunately. And while the Thundurus helps, like, I don't know, could I really brought it into this matchup? Maybe. But late game, like, I think against Zekrom teams, Zekrom Thundurus, your opponent's basically just going to bring Incineroar in the back, like, 95% of times. Okay, that was like a random number, so don't take that to face value, but yeah. And I'm here hoping here it baits a Taunt out into the Amoonguss slot. We're going to Dynamax. I mean, this is still definitely doable in the late game. It's just a single Intimidate definitely hurts the Zekrom a fair amount, so it's not ideal, but that's okay. Because then the thing is, once you Intimidate Zekrom, you can also just Parting Shot it with the Incineroar afterwards, which also isn't super ideal. So, let's see what we can do in these last couple of turns. Okay, they did go for Taunt. So that's what I was hoping to see. I don't know, maybe Max Lightning there is better, because then if they actually don't have Tailwind, or sorry, they don't have Focus Sash, I just KO you even if you Intimidate me, whereas now I don't KO you. Yeah, I guess Max Lightning is better there. I mean, if you're Focus Sash, it doesn't make a difference, you get Tailwind up anyway. I think presumably now my opponent will Tailwind this next turn. I'm gonna go for Max Light. Oh, do I want to Max Lightning? Because it does set up the terrain, which means I can't Spore. But it means I get a stronger Max Lightning off the next turn, and they don't really have great electric switch-ins, so okay. I think I'm willing to just go Max Lightning and Rock Slide here. They should Tailwind again, yeah. But I think we might outspeed the Incineroar now, just because we got a speed boost on both of our Pokemon. Yep. Flinch here would be a big deal, I think, because then Incineroar doesn't even get a Parting Shot off. Wow, Max Lightning does a lot there, but unfortunately Rock Slide's not going to KO. Yeah, the Intimidate is just not great for us here. Something like my Milotic could be really interesting on a team composition like this. We missed Rock Slide on Incineroar, which is unfortunate, but okay. It is going to connect with Tornadus. It is going to get the knockout there. I'm sure I get hit by a Parting Shot here onto Zekrom. Yeah. Okay, so it's 3-2. I still have one more turn of Max. Sorry, 3-3. They can just bring in Incineroar and get me down to -3, which is really ugly. And then where do we go from there? Yeah, Giratina comes back out. Yeah, I guess you just bring Incineroar back out again. Now, I could Max Wormwind. I could switch Landorus out into the Amoonguss, but I think to win this, I kind of need to withdraw the Zekrom and then bring him back in again. Yeah. I have one more turn of Max here on the Zekrom. I think I will go for a Wormwind here into Giratina, switch Landorus out into Amoonguss, and then the idea is to withdraw Zekrom out into Landorus the next turn, because I need to reset these attack drops. They're not good. I don't know. Sash is kind of often on, like, frequent on Tornadus teams, but they did have Urshifu, so I wouldn't be surprised if it were, like, Mental Herb on Tornadus instead, so maybe we could have just gone with Max Lightning. They don't protect Giratina, which is good. I mean, a crit here would actually put us in a really good place. Oh, wow. Earth Power, okay. I can't tell if they're mixed then or just purely special. Huh. That is interesting. Well, it doesn't do that much damage, which is good. Get an attack drop onto Incineroar. Our Dynamax ends. I can double protect here. They have 2 turns of terrain, or sorry, 2 turns of Tailwind, 3 turns of terrain. I think it's fine to double protect in this position. It really comes down to what their last one is. Urshifu, Kartana, those are all pretty scary because they're rather fast. Now, Zekrom does have that speed boost. So once Tailwind expires, we actually do just outspeed everything. Man, one of my questions here is, does Boltbeak one-shot Incineroar? Draco Meteor. Wow, they were special this whole time. That just shows, man, Giratina's kind of underwhelming damage-wise then, if it's doing that little. Or sorry, not Boltbeak, Bolt Strike. We're at -3, but the terrain is up. What's my alternative? I could switch Zekrom. I just double protected, so my opponent's probably going to just make the same play. Flare Blitz and Draco Meteor. Could sack the Landorus, I suppose. Maybe this is why I shouldn't have set up terrain earlier. Okay, I think I'm just going to Rage Powder and Bolt Strike here. Hope to survive with Amoonguss and then knock out Incineroar before it attacks. I just don't know if we can pick up the KO at -3 attack, unfortunately. Oh, I actually wanted them to hit that Draco. Ugh. The reason I wanted them to hit, because I don't think it would KO, and then I think it gets the, we get the special attack drops. We do knock out Incineroar there, though, which is huge. Okay. What's your last one? Because, like, I didn't think Draco Meteor was going to knock out Amoonguss there. But Tailwind's over now. The Zekrom does have the speed boost, right? So I can Dragon Claw. It's going to be Urshifu. Okay. I don't mind seeing that. Last turn of Electric Terrain. We still have our Focus Sash. Oh, it's Water Urshifu. Wait. Then we just win, right? We just Dragon Claw here into Giratina. And Rage Powder. Well, I want to be careful about this. Yeah, I mean, Dragon Claw should... Actually, I don't know if it KOs Giratina. I really don't. This thing's rather bulky. Okay. I am just going for Rage Powder. See, like, the thing is, if Draco connected and didn't KO last turn, I could just withdraw Amoonguss here, but Urshifu detects. Wow. I think Zekrom might pull this off then. And they don't protect with Giratina, which is exactly what we want to see. This was crazy. Like, after getting intimidated so much, it didn't look really good, but even if this doesn't KO, it's still okay, and yeah. Okay, despite being at -3 attack, Zekrom actually does so much work in this endgame for us. It gets that Bolt Strike off. Now we outspeed the Urshifu as well. Terrain disappears, so I can actually just Spore the Urshifu here in the end. So, I don't know. I think Max Lightning may have been better over the initial Max Airstream. There was Special Giratina the whole time. I don't know why. Like, Special was more common. So, yeah. I was probably better off Snarling, but man, it just does not do very much damage, even at +2. We've definitely been going up against a lot of, like, interesting options recently. I'm just going to Dragon Claw here and Spore. Yeah, you're not going to win against Amoonguss with Water Urshifu at this point. So, I was kind of nervous about Kartana being in the back. So we get Dragon Claw off. Yeah, I just don't want to miss at this point, right? Because we know we have Energy Ball in this thing. I probably could have just gone Energy Ball instead, but little downside of Sporing here. Let's see if Surging Strike's even KOs. 38 down to 22, so that's 16. So I think we survived this. Nice. Cool. Wow, I didn't think Zekrom could pull it off after all those attack drops, but yeah, fortunately enough, it was able to knock out the Incineroar and the Giratina from the range that they were at. We didn't miss Bolt Strike, which is also a big deal. By the way, this animation is so cool. Yeah, I mean, we can just Bolt Strike and Energy Ball now. I guess Dragon Claw is safer, but I think Energy Ball might just knock out from this range anyway. Plus, we get to see the animation one last time. Nice. That's such a cool animation. Someone in yesterday's video was like, yeah, you need to play until you get the animation off, so glad we could have fulfilled that in today's episode. Okay, now, this is what I do after when I play against Pokemon I'm not familiar with. I just go on Pikalytics and look them up and see what they do. So, Giratina, 3% usage. Oh, it does have the same special attack and attack stat, so yeah, I mean, that's why I thought like there was a chance it was physical instead. Weakness policy is 90% on sets right now. And yeah, most common though is special, Shadow Ball, Dual Wing Beat, Earth Power. So no Dragon type attack, which is interesting. That's part of the reason. Oh no, that one a Draco Meteor. Yeah. It's interesting that, wow. Huh. It's only base 100, so I guess that's what makes Giratina kind of underwhelming in terms of damage output. Like, you're getting +2 on a base 100 mon. So, yeah, I was assuming it was physical. I'm like, okay, let me decrease its attack, but it ended up being special instead. But despite it being physical, or yeah, despite it being special, it didn't even one-shot the Landorus on the switch. Well, no, they couldn't one-shot the Landorus initially, right? Because, yeah, they didn't get the policy off there yet. I don't think my opponent needed to Tailwind on turn 1, though. Well, okay, I guess the reason to Tailwind is then to ensure that if you're not Focus Sash Tornadus, which makes sense, and I one-shot you, then you get Tailwind up for the remainder of the game. That would make some sense, yeah. And then you're expecting Policy to get activated by Umbreon there, probably. Okay, this is a Rain team. Zekrom's pretty good against a Kyogre, so I really like Zekrom, I really like Umbreon. I like Celesteela, I think. Among Us is interesting. But there's Tornadus, Kyogre. They don't have Intimidate. Dynamax Thundurus with Assault Vest actually could work here too. Where we pivot out and then like use regular Zekrom. Max Zekrom is really strong here though. And Among Us compels me just because it has access to Rage Powder on turn 1. Although one mistake I was making when playing with this team earlier in practice was like just leading Zekrom Among Us and then like losing Among Us on turn 1. That's like a disaster often. Obviously, my opponent has that Tornadus Metagross combination as well, so I probably need to respect that. Foul Play Umbreon actually is really cool against that, I would say. Could go Umbreon Among Us. I don't think you lead Kyogre here, because I have Zekrom. So I'm honestly thinking like Umbreon Celesteela? Zekrom in the back? I don't know. Thundurus is really interesting as an option over Among Us. I don't want Landorus. Okay, I'm going to try to bring the Thundurus here, because I could see myself maxing it depending on how the early game goes. I don't know. If there was a place to lead Among Us, like, I guess it was as a lead. Or sorry, if there was a place to bring Among Us, it was as the lead, but I just didn't feel super comfortable with it as a lead. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Metagross and Tornadus? Yeah, that was expected. Now the question is whether or not +2 Steel Spike knocks out the Umbreon. Yesterday, +2 from the Necrozma one-shot. But it's not Necrozma. I could Dynamax Celesteela here. Like, I really could. Because I can max Flare. Turn 1, I'm thinking Foul Play, Max, and Flare. And try to just pick up the knockout onto Metagross outright. I think that could actually work here. It's just weird, because then I'm stuck with regular Thundurus and regular Zekrom. How bad is that for us? It's not terrible. I don't know, though. I probably really want to Dynamax Thundurus here, but if you Steel Spike... I'm hoping Foul Play plus Flare is enough to one-shot Metagross here. Okay, that's what I'm going to go for. It's still tricky, though, even if they... Oh, gosh, they're not maxing? Or they're really slow? Yeah, I guess it doesn't make much sense to max in front of a Celesteela, so I could have used that to my advantage. Because now if they max Zekrom or sorry, not Zekrom, Zapdos in the back, that's pretty bad news for us, right? Protect. I walked right into that. Okay. They actually forget they can't taunt Dark types. So I get Max Flare off. They'll see the Foul Play. I'm sure you're Weakness Policy'd here. Although, like, Flare and Sun did... Yeah, it is Policy. 25%. I don't think Umbreon faints, to be honest. Oh, that's the other cool thing, by the way. You can actually, yeah, set up the Sun, and then Umbreon can Moonlight the damage away, which I didn't even think about. I don't mind Airstreaming with Celesteela onto the Tornadus. I'll play... Airstreaming doesn't make much sense, actually, and Tornadus is not a threat to us at all, so let's just double up onto Metagross. I could see a Kyogre switch, and if they switch Tornadus out into Kyogre and then we get the Sun up, like, that's great. Because then Kyogre is really, really sad. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tornadus also has Natural Rain Dance here. That would make some sense. Okay, they do end up maxing Metagross. Huh. Yeah, I mean, so Turbo was odd. I'm just hoping Umbreon can survive the +2 Steel Spike right now, assuming that's what they're going for. Get the Foul Play off, and then we KO Metagross. That would be huge. I think he just Tailwind here. Yep. So, like, Tornadus isn't a threat, but late game Kyogre and Rain is also looking really scary here for us. Oh, they max Quake. Well, pretty sure we just KO'd the Metagross now. This is definitely not KOing us. Steel Spike would have KO'd, I think. So, I get why they wanted the special defense boost to maybe survive the Flare, but yeah, I think Foul Play here just finishes it off now. The double up definitely should. Actually, maybe I'm a little too confident in that. Maybe it doesn't. Let's see. Okay, we get Max Flare off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Foul Play finishes it off here. They didn't get that special defense boost, though. Maybe we would have actually just KO'd. I'm not sure. Okay, well, obviously that's decent for us. But they obviously have Tailwind up, and we have Zekrom and Thundurus in the back. They're not bad Pokemon to have, but it's definitely kind of awkward. And I'm curious what my opponent has in the back on their side right now. I think Kyogre comes in here for sure. We've seen only Taunt, Tailwind, Brutal Swing, and presumably Icy Wind or a Flying type attack. I couldn't lead Thundurus or Zekrom into this, unfortunately, which is, yeah, I mean, why didn't... Yeah, Kyogre comes out. You just Water Spout here, right? I don't really want to switch out. I think I just sacrifice Umbreon at this point. I'll Snarl in the off chance you don't Water Spout for some reason. And I lean towards Max Airstream into Kyogre. Yeah, I mean... Well, it's interesting. Like, maybe I want to knock out Tornadus so they don't get another Tailwind off. Okay, so they reveal Hurricane as well here. No confusion. It is going to be Water Spout. That really hurts. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted an Airstream to just get damage onto Kyogre in this position. It's really good damage, actually. Okay. I have Zekrom in the back. I think we bring Zekrom out now. Double Protect. And then go from there. I wonder if Life Orb Dual Wing KOs Tornadus if they have no bulk. Because, I don't know. It's just the Sash Tornadus, which is such an issue. Like, Tailwind is definitely somewhat tricky to go up against. And gone up against a bunch so far. Man, this is where if we had Wide Guard with Celesteela, it would be sick. But we don't. +1 speed, +1 speed def, 2 turns of Tailwind left. Obviously, they can just Ice Beam here and Hurricane. Or Origin Pulse Hurricane. See, I could double protect, but that leaves me kind of vulnerable. What am I doing if I'm my opponent here? I actually don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should knock out the... I also don't think Ice Beam KOs us. So, like... I lean towards knocking out Tornadus in this position. Maybe it's better to have protected here. Well, I also could have flared last turn. Okay, they go Hurricane into Zekrom. I guess you could just Ice Beam here, right? If it is a double up, then I definitely should have protected. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough read to make. But I guess the problem is I should make that because I need to... I think it's just double protect there and then switch out the next turn, probably. Yeah. Awakened Kyogre is just a beast. It was mainly the Metagross that was the problem, because otherwise I definitely could have just gone in with Zekrom in this matchup. And we don't have Wide Guard, unfortunately. Okay, I'll Wild Charge here. It's still winnable, I think. I'll Wild Charge Protect, because we can survive an Origin Pulse or Ice Beam, because we have the Assault Vest. And then Tailwind will be over after this turn. So then it'll be low HP Thundurus, low HP Celesteela, but with the speed boost on the Celesteela. So if they have, like, Rillaboom as the last one, Celesteela Thundurus could definitely still pull this off. But if I actually protected Zekrom last turn, I think we'd actually be in pretty good shape. Yeah. So that's tough, but I don't know. It's like, yeah, of course, if I should have protected, but if I protect there and they call that and they just knock out the Celesteela, that's super bad. Man, Hurricane does so much damage. Wow, they actually called a double up. Okay, that's really impressive. But it doesn't KO. Do we feign from Wild Charge? We might. Let's see. I think we do. Ah, that's enough. Okay, props to them. They were probably covering for wide guard on Celesteela as well, so yeah, kudos. They called the right double up in back-to-back turns. And they had Zapdos in the back. Okay, given that they had Zapdos in the back, this was actually going to be a really tough game to win right from the start. Because Metagross does really well in the early game, and our Zapdos answers are, I guess, Zekrom, Landorus, or Thundurus. None which really feel that good here. Yeah, part of the problem, I guess, is that I activated my opponent's weakness policy for them on turn 1, but yeah, they played the late game well, and I think that a late game Kyogre is really skilled. That's why Kyogre is such a good restricted mon, right? Because like it's actually better non-Dynamaxed off than when Dynamaxed. And so in this game, my opponent, all you do is you get Tailwind up, Kyogre comes in, and it just does a lot of damage across the board. All right, getting into our last game of the day, we're up against the Solgaleo team with Clefable, which is definitely pretty interesting, as well as a Gastrodon. So Zekrom's kind of sad here, but Amoonguss can maybe put in some work against the Gastrodon. Clefable, okay. Solgaleo is definitely scary. Curious what kind of item it is. Is it weakness policy? Could be the case still. I like Zekrom just in terms of being able to do a lot of damage here right from the start. I like Umbreon. Actually, maybe I like Amoonguss. Because with Focus Sash, if I get a Spore off in the early game, that really hampers my opponent early, I think. So Zekrom, Amoonguss, Landorus, and I think I want to bring Umbreon into this one, because Foul Play into Solgaleo is pretty valuable, and Snarling into Moltres, Rotom, and Gastrodon is also rather valuable for us here. So, yeah. It is cool. We are seeing a lot of restricted Pokemon across the board, right? So, like, Solgaleo, the Kyogre, and the last one. I mean, these are ones that are more standard, but yeah, it is. I think it's nice that there is like a wide mix of strong restricted Pokemon. Like, you know, I think like 9 to 10 that are really valuable, and even outside of those, like I originally stated at the start of the series, I think like you probably can build a good restricted team with all of the restricted. You just have to work a little bit harder for some of the other Pokemon. Okay, Solgaleo and Clefable. I don't mind that, honestly. I don't want to max Lightning yet, because I don't want to set up the terrain. But in this position, I think I'm content to max Airstream, Clefable. Let's boost our Zekrom up, and then just Spore into Solgaleo. That seems okay to me. Sash Amoonguss is really good. I do think it is just kind of the best item for it right now. So they're going to max the Solgaleo, which is fine. Because if we just put one Pokemon to sleep early on, I think that's pretty good for us. I think it's pretty good for us. There's the max. I don't know. I mean, what else would I do here? I definitely would not want to Lightning turn 1. We know we have Sash on Amoonguss. I mean, yeah, I like a lot of Solgaleos are not running Psychic type attacks, but what I'm nervous about here, I guess, if you like max Psychic and then Moonblast into Amoonguss to just KO me turn 1, that's a possibility. I don't know if Amoonguss will outspeed the Clef after a speed boost. Okay, they just go for Follow Me. So we get a guaranteed sleep, a guaranteed Pokemon to fall asleep here, which is really valuable, honestly, I think. And they steal Spike, which is also fine with me. Cool, I'll take that. Are you Focus Sash, or is it just that much damage? Huh. That is one strong attack. Sorry, not Focus Sash, Life Orb. Okay, it is Life Orb. I was like, yeah, there's no way you bring us down to our Sash otherwise, right? That's impressive. Pretty good damage from Max Airstream, all things considered. I could switch Amoonguss out, but honestly in this position... Okay, my only question... I need to double check the Amoonguss' speed. Because if we're, like, decently speedy, maybe we can actually just Airstream Spore. That would be kind of neat. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to Lightning. Oh, it is Max Speed Amoonguss. Nice. That's actually one of my favorite sets from back in the day. Yeah, what this means is I could actually just max Airstream into Clefable, and then I shit outspeed Solgaleo. And then I can Spore the Solgaleo. I actually ran max speed Amoonguss in VGC 2011. 90, if you go timid max speed, you actually outspeed the Genies. So Tornadus, Thundurus were really relevant in 2011. And so I used it with Tailwind, and then, yeah, you just put everything to sleep, because back in 2011, like, you know, the Genies were basically, like, the fastest in terms of, like, meta-standard mons. Okay, Clefable switches out into Rotom, that's fine. Because, yeah, I can actually just Spore everything now with Amoonguss, so this is one cool way you can play with this team as well. Just, you know, boost yourself up and go really, really fast. Also good to confirm the item there on the Solgaleo. And this next turn, I'm just going to Max Lightning Solgaleo Spore into Rotom Heat. So this is actually one option I should have considered a little bit more when playing with this team. Although I think a lot of the matchups we ran into were Tailwinds, so it's a little bit difficult to execute, but... yeah, I'm content to Max Lightning here and just Spore now into Rotom. And the reason I can Max Lightning now is because, I mean, I think Amoonguss isn't going to get any more Spores off beyond this one onto Rotom, and Rotom isn't grounded, so Spore will work against it. But they do switch out Rotom, so into Clef. Yeah, good play, good play. And that also, like, baits out a Max Wormwind, like, had I Wormwinded there, too. You know, that's not super good. Max Lightning actually still does a decent chunk there into Solgaleo, so we'll take that. Now Amoonguss is in a weird spot, but Clef hasn't taken any turns of sleep, right? So I can probably just go Rage Powder and Bolt Strike into Clefable. And Solgaleo stays asleep for another turn, which is fortunate for us. Yeah, I think it's definitely just Bolt Strike into Clefable. The question is, with Amoonguss, do I want to consider switching out, Rage Powdering? Because I do have the speed boost onto it. Oh, actually, Bolt Strike probably just KOs Solgaleo, right? Well, I'm not 100% sure it does. Okay, it does have the defense boost. So, I think it's probably better to just eliminate Clefable right now. Yeah, I'm content going for Bolt Strike and Rage Powder here, I think. Clef takes a turn to sleep. And the other reason for that is because, like, there is a small chance Solgaleo maybe tries to wake up and protect there. Nice. So we get Bolt Strike off. Really glad we could get that for the thumbnail today. Clefable goes down. Nice. So we have Landorus in the back. We have Umbreon, but Life Orb Solgaleo definitely packs a punch. And they actually take 3 turns of sleep, so that's definitely fortunate for us here. Curious if it has Earthquake or a ground type attack in general. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. They bring out Rotom now, but... I think it's definitely just Bolt Strike onto Solgaleo. There is value to maybe protecting the Amoonguss here, because I will outspeed, and I can Spore into Rotom next turn. So this was, like, weird, because, like, did I want to set up the terrain? Maybe, because I do so much more damage with Bolt Strike. Yeah, Rotom protects. Great. So now I can Spore that slot next turn. That's exactly what I was going for. We have not missed the Bolt Strike yet, which is also fortunate. It makes me really nervous that its signature attack is not 100% accurate. Okay, Zekrom honestly is a beast. Yeah, we just KO. So I actually could have just Spored there. I protected because I assumed Solgaleo was going to survive there. But we undoubtedly were fortunate with sleep turns in this game, so can't deny that. And Moltres comes out. Yeah, I think Zekrom actually just sweeps this one. So Zekrom is really about positioning it into the right spots, I feel like. I'm just going to Spore here. I doubt your safety goggles, because otherwise you wouldn't have protected last turn. And with Umbreon and Landorus in the back, we should have this wrapped up. Okay, Moltres protects, but that's fine. If you are Goggles here, this gets a little bit more interesting. Bolt Strike into Protect. Yep. They're not Goggles. Nice. This is, yeah, what fast Amoonguss can do. So if you're not sure about an Amoonguss spread and you're running Max Airstream, part of the other thing is because Focus Sash now is such a good item on Amoonguss, because you have so many things that can one-shot Amoonguss, it makes a lot more sense to just run a lot of speed investment, right? So I'll just Bolt Strike here and go for Rage Powder. Well, okay, let's say we miss Bolt Strike. I mean, there's no reason to not Spore into Moltres, I suppose, right? We could even switch out, but I don't know. I don't need Amoonguss out anymore in this point in the game. They do go for the double protect, which is the right play. They don't get it. We hit the Bolt Strike, so yeah. I think it was going to be tough for them to win this with Landorus and Amoonguss in the back, but man, like, Zekrom picked up 3 one-hit KOs with Bolt Strike after we chipped away with the damage, and so this is why Max Airstream boosts onto Zekrom is actually super, super valuable as well. So, yeah. And that is the cool thing about Amoonguss. So I feel like what can be scary for this team is if your opponent's Pokemon are just like super offensive right from the start and you don't have enough time to like stall them out. We can just Dragon Claw here, Rage Powder, and then bring in Landorus. What can be tough is, yeah, if your opponent has Pokemon that outspeed you or they get Tailwind up. I've had a lot of trouble playing against Tailwind or just like really fast Pokemon like Zacian, for example. Pokemon like just are outspeeding, and man, Zekrom is, I mean, it just, it really cleaned up in this one. Impressive performance by it here. And so I think that's why the Amoonguss is actually a really good partner for Zekrom. I know yesterday one of the comments I read was like, oh yeah, you're running so many electric-type Pokemon, aren't you just going to nullify the spores if you set up the terrain? And to an extent, yes, you just have to be careful about when you actually go for that Max Lightning, because typically it's actually better to start the game off with a Max Airstream with like Thundurus or Zekrom, for example. So there is some value in that. But yeah, Max Speed Amoonguss, one of my favorite sets from back in the day, and it's cool to be able to utilize that a little bit more. So yeah, I will play one last game with the team here today. Alright, getting into our last game of the day, we are up against a really scary looking team. I actually played against this player earlier off screen when I was just practicing with the team, so this should be an interesting one. They let a Thundurus Jinx and it caused me a lot of problems, so I was able to win in our matchup, but I got really lucky. Like, he completely outled me and outplayed me, and I won off, what was it, a double protect and like a lovely kiss miss, so yeah. Didn't think I'd run into this opponent right away after, but that's pretty cool. So, last time they let Thundurus Jinx. Caused me a lot of issues because Jinx can put things to sleep. I could go with my own Thundurus. This is max speed, isn't it? It is. But then we're playing, you know, potential speed ties on turn 1, which isn't good. Thundurus Jinx is just such a good lead here. But I really don't have a consistent answer. That's scary. That is quite scary. Okay. I think I'm going to try Amoonguss Zekrom with Umbreon in the back and Landorus as the last one. So the idea here is to... What is the idea here? I think generally we want to set up terrain. Man, Thundurus plus Jinx is just such a good lead here, though. Like, they led it the first time we played. I led Amoonguss plus Umbreon, and I was like, okay, actually, Umbreon isn't very good here. But they actually go Hat Indeedee, so that's a complete mix-up. So they're going with the Trick Room route. Okay, I like that adjustment a lot from their end. I can Spore turn 1 into Indeedee. If you're my opponent, what do you want to do? Follow me, Trick Room is probably their best line to take. Follow me, Trick Room. Max Lightning should one-shot the Indeedee, but then I guess they could max the Hatterene, which is scary. I have Umbreon in the back, though, which can Snarl. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely getting Trick Room up here, right? There's no way around that, so I think I'm just going to Lightning into Indeedee. We're Lightning into Hatterene. I can't Spore with the Amoonguss after that, though. I guess that's the problem. But then I can Rage Powder the next turn. So, yeah. I'll go for Energy Ball, Max, and Lightning here into Hatterene. And the idea is to basically just try to pick up 3 knockouts with Zekrom in 3 turns. I guess Hat could Protect here. And Indeedee could just, like, Expanding Force, but I don't know. I think Rage Powder, or sorry, Follow Me Trick Room just makes the most sense from them here. So we get the Max Zekrom, which is pretty neat. We'll change terrain, which is also important. And then if you bring out Torkoal, like I can just Rage Powder, Max Lightning Hatterene. Hatterene probably doesn't really want to max in that position. Oh, they go straight for the max. That's a really good play. They did not Trick Room. I could have just gone Follow Me, Max Lightning into Indeedee, and we'd be in such a good spot. I kind of tunnel vision on the maxing Hat here. That's a really darn good play, so kudos to them. Yeah, I think that's just a phenomenal play. Man, Max Lightning did so much damage there. Okay, so we have Umbreon in the back. They're not going to get Trick Room up, which is, I guess, an upside. We've also changed the terrain, so you're doing a little bit less with your Psychic-type attacks. It is Expanding Force, but of course they might just Starfall into Zekrom here. Unless Energy Ball just KOs beforehand, but no, it doesn't. Or, sorry, G-Max Smite. Wow, what a play. That was so well done on their end. That was like, that's a really hard read, honestly, because if I just go Rage Powder Lightning turn 1, well, I guess it's still like a decently safe play. Or sorry, yeah, Rage Powder Lightning into Indeedee would have just been a game-winning play there turn 1, honestly. But we did not go for it. Okay, I have Landers in the back, though, so I can just Rock Slide here and switch out Amoonguss, probably. That honestly does not seem that bad. I have Umbreon for this late game, too, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think we just switch out Amoonguss here and Rock Slide. So let's make that play. That was such a hard read on their end turn 1, so props to them, because I think, I don't know though. Honestly, I'm happy, I'm like decently happy with this, because like Trick Room doesn't go up, but at the same time, I feel like I could have gotten a lot more out of my Zekrom in this match, and I didn't. Like Zekrom kind of one-shots everything on their team, especially if I make it past turn 1. So I think if I could have replayed that, what would I have gone for? Just Rage Powder Max Lightning into their Indeedee is not bad. I'm switching out here because I can't Spore anyway with the terrain being up. And I, you know, just want to Rock Slide and get Regenerator. Well, I guess Regenerator is irrelevant. It's more to stall out the, yeah, they protect there, which makes sense. But I get Umbreon safely now, which is also pretty good. So I can maybe EQ Foul Play next turn. That's definitely a possibility. And they just go for Expanding Force into Amoonguss. Okay, perfect. I mean, it's always slightly questionable to attack myself here with Earthquake, but I think it's worth it. Because if I miss Rock Slide into Hatterene, it's actually a disaster, right? So we don't want to risk that, I think. So I'll just Foul Play into Indeedee and Earthquake here. Maybe pick up a double KO. And if I get rid of Indeedee, then Amoonguss has a better time in this late game too. Yeah, I really, because like missing Rock Slide there would actually probably just be a game-losing miss. And so I'm willing to take some damage onto Umbreon to secure that knockout. They just Expanding Force into Landorus, okay. I mean, if they just... What do you have in the back? Calyrex? Thundurus is pretty scary here. I guess it's actually maybe a good thing we don't knock out Indeedee, because this Indeedee is actually not doing much for my opponent right now. So let's see what comes in. Calyrex makes a lot of sense, but I do have Snarl, and I don't think you can actually... Like, Umbreon is actually used to counter Calyrex. That's one of the reasons why it's kind of a cool Pokemon right now. So, with that, what do I want to do? I mean, if I'm my opponent, what I would consider just protecting... I like Snarl for sure here. And I think Protect with Landorus makes sense. If we don't knock out Indeedee, that actually maybe works in our favor. We have Amoonguss in the back. Now, Redirection's not really that good against Calyrex. Yeah, they do protect Calyrex. Okay, that makes sense. So now the question is whether or not... The thing is, I don't want to give them a free switch-in, right? I actually want Indeedee to be on the field right now, so that actually works in our favor. Oh, they actually just double protected. Okay. That's fine. We've seen Protect Expanding Force, Follow Me on Indeedee. Well, no Follow Me yet, but that's assumed. Okay. Well, I mean, now you can just Astral Barrage into Landorus. So I could switch that out into Amoonguss and then Snarl here. Yeah, I don't want them snowballing with Calyrex here, I think. So I am going to pull the switch. Because I think Umbreon actually beats my opponent in this endgame now. It depends on what they have in the back, but it is pretty darn good against Calyrex. Ooh, they go for Helping Hand. Okay, well now I'm definitely glad I switched out. And Astral Barrage, yeah. We should survive this with Umbreon, right? I hope so. 130 down. Oh, that does nothing to Umbreon. Nice. Okay, we get the Snarl off, which is super, super good. And we don't knock out Indeedee, which actually, in my opinion, like works in our favor here. Because now what I can do is Moonlight with Umbreon, Protect with Amoonguss. That's pretty risk-free. Calyrex is still kind of a pain, though. I don't know if we would have KO'd with, like, Foul Play. Yeah, I'm going to Moonlight Protect here. Fortunately, I don't get the knockout. Well, actually, Amoonguss had Sash, so they were never going to get the knockout there, I suppose. My only fear now is if you have Thundurus in the back, you switch it onto a Snarl, and I give you a Defiant boost. That's something to maybe watch out for. Snarl definitely helps, right? Because, like, Calyrex is just really not good against Umbreon. So, once again, like... And I saw some comments on yesterday's video, like, why use Umbreon? Seems like it's kind of in an awkward place, but one of the reasons why a lot of people like it right now is because it's a really good counter to Calyrex Shadow specifically. So, yeah. I'm just going to Protect and Moonlight here. It's pretty risk-free. Umbreon is not at risk of really taking any damage right now in this position. I'm still scared of what my opponent has in the back, though. Okay, they just go for Helping Hand again, but that's fine. We'll survive, and then we'll heal all the way back up, which is important. Because, yeah, I think Umbreon is this endgame for us right now. And then I'd probably just sacrifice Amoonguss. Snarl again. Yeah, let's see how much this does. I think we're at 81 down to 43. Nice. So 38 damage total. So we maybe could have just snarled there, but I'd rather just play it safe with Umbreon right now. We heal so much from Moonlight as well. Look at that. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to snarl here. There's no reason to not double protect, right? Oh, you know what my question is? Does Foul Play just knock out Calyrex? I think it does. So I'd actually rather Foul Play and go for the double here. Oh, actually, I could also switch Amoonguss out for Regenerator, because then I have Amoonguss Umbreon as my endgame, rather than Landorus. I think I like that more, actually. So I'm going to Foul Play here in a Calyrex, switch out Amoonguss into Landorus, sacrifice Landorus, and then play with Amoonguss and Umbreon, because Umbreon is really the key win con for us. I also don't want to give the potential Thundurus in the back if they have it a Defiant boost. Now, if they have Torkoal in the back, it's okay, because Snarl really just, you know, hampers it. The thing about going for Foul Play here is that it... Oh, I guess I just intimidated them. Do we not KO anymore after that? Maybe we don't. Okay, that was maybe questionable then. I'm not 100% sure that was my best play. Yep, Landorus gets KO'd, but that's okay. So then if it is Thundurus in the back, like, you can only superpower and I can just like Rage Powder and heal up. Yeah, I don't know if this KOs. Okay, it does. I know it's 4 times super effective, but I was not 100% confident there. Okay, so we can bring out Amoonguss now. 2v2. If it's Torkoal or oh, it's Torkoal actually. Okay. Torkoal. Well, I think that's fine because we can just Snarl and protect. Does Amoonguss faint from an expanding force? And does an eruption... Oh, because you could Helping Hand eruption here. I definitely want to Snarl here. It's just... Or, oh, wait. We're at max speed Amoonguss. So I think we might even outspeed Indeedee. So let's just Snarl and Spore here. Yeah, I think that's the play. And if you Helping Hand, then I just put Torkoal to sleep. If you Follow Me actually doesn't work here at all. And if you Expanding Force Amoonguss, well... Yeah, wait. Snarl's always going off anyway. Right, so it's always Snarl Spore. Okay, they double protect. That's fine. I could have recovered there, but I don't think that's worth it in this position. Yeah, there's no... Actually, we don't even need a Snarl. I think we just Foul Play here. Because we're definitely outspeeding the Indeedee with Umbreon. It's 5% chance to miss. I think we just Foul Play and Spore. Because we're definitely outspeeding Torkoal with Amoonguss. Okay, I guess my one fear... Actually, if Indeedee outspeeds Umbreon, yeah, then we'd actually lose, right? Oh, shoot, the Amoonguss is faster here. I didn't even realize that. That's a problem, but I think then I'm going to Snarl and Protect. Do they Rage Powder here? And also, did they... Oh, they should know we're faster now, yeah, with Amoonguss. Okay, I'm going to go for Snarl and Protect. Ideally, because, like, yeah, if I don't know, they could have followed me. Yeah, okay, good. I think this secures us the game unless Umbreon faints. We don't miss Snarl, which is good. So, as I don't think Torkoal one-shots here after a -1 drop, but I'm not 100%. I mean, if it one-shots, it actually wins the game, right? So we need to survive here. Goes for Eruption, but we know they're not specs. Let's see if Umbreon can clutch this out for us. -1 special attack. Oh, this Umbreon is so good. What a beast. He even procs our berry. Now we just Snarl. Or we should probably Moonlight Spore first. That's the better play, because it covers for them protecting. But, yeah, Umbreon was an absolute monster for us in this game. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zekrom was really good here. My opponent made a really nice play turn 1. I don't know, if they went Follow Me Trick Room, I think my Amoonguss play was just kind of bad, because Energy Ball doesn't really get us much there. Because we already know that the Indeedee isn't even Focus Sash, right? So I think Follow Me, Max Lightning, at least would have been better. Even if it's Max Lightning into Hatterene, it's better there. It covers for Hatterene potentially attacking, but Umbreon was the real carry here. So, yeah, I'm just going to Snarl, and I guess it's better to protect here because Torkoal could wake up. This is going to be kind of a long, drawn-out endgame, but Umbreon should win this for us at this point. Especially once the sun is gone. Like, you just do no damage into Umbreon. I guess my only fear is if you have Yawn or Body Press onto Torkoal. But now you're already at -2 special attack. And they do wake up, yeah. So that's exactly why I protected with Amoonguss. Amoonguss isn't going to do much with Energy Ball that turn anyway, right? I don't really need to go for a Rage Powder. And obviously I'm not going to Spore because I'm already faster than Torkoal. So now we can just Snarl again and Spore again. So the main thing here, yeah, I think like being able to do so much damage in the early game definitely helped us. But like I said, I ran into this opponent. I think it was this player. I don't remember if there was OT, but it was definitely the same team. And they like, I ended up having a really close game against them, and they led Thunderous Jinx, and so like I didn't even think about that lead very much the first time around, so I wanted to prepare for that. They actually won up me by going Hatterene and making the better play turn 1, but in the end, like doing so much damage on the Hatterene was pretty good for us. Because I think if they had just actually gone follow me and the Smite, that would have been really bad because we wouldn't have done any damage into Hatterene. So fortunately for us, we were at least able to get so much chip damage where it didn't get a second max move off, and that was really important. But I think if anything, this game should highlight the strength of Umbreon because it actually just slowed that end game, right? It beat the Calyrex, Indeedee, and Torkoal basically by itself, and that's why Umbreon is a really strong Pokemon in the right matchups in this metagame, especially against Calyrex Shadow specifically. It's really, like, you know, a really, really good answer against one of the strongest restricted mons out there, and you don't need to use a restricted slot to deal with it. So, yeah, happy Umbreon gets to shine a little bit more in that last game because, you know, Umbreon, I think, is going to see a big spike in usage. One of the future teams I'm planning on featuring has Groudon on Umbreon, and it makes really effective use of Umbreon as well. So, yeah. Either way, that's going to be it for this episode, so thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. Thank you to ZekromZeke for the team. Check him out, link down in the description below, and I'll catch you all next time. Alright, peace.